Hello, my name is Jeremy Freeborn. I am a mechanical engineering technology student here at Alfred State in my senior year, and this is what my senior project is. It's a jet-powered hydroplane that I designed using an old design of a hydroplane. Now, back in the old times, the way you built a hydroplane was pretty simple. You made a 6-foot boat, stuck a 25 horsepower engine on the back, and away you went. There are even simple designs online that you could find and follow for cheap. The design you see on the right hand is a very classic design of a hydroplane with a few tweaks to it I've observed. Back in the olden days, they wouldn't have that aluminum foil off the back to help push the boat up, which is a pretty basic, simple little thing to do to help the boat take off. The one on the left-hand side that you see is a very high-performance, race-oriented version of the hydroplane, which I could have designed, but I would never actually be able to build such a thing, as well as it would have taken much longer to do and much more of my time. I put enough of the time what time I could put into this design that I made. And that boat wouldn't be that'd be very fun to go racing in, not very enjoyable to just drive because you felt like having fun on the lake. Now to prepare for the design of the boat, I designed it using the saucy shingle design I found offline from Popular Mechanics in an article from 1965. That boat is a very basic boat to build and could very easily be built, but I felt it could be improved upon. I had to, of course, do the research to determine what I wanted to do to improve it. To improve it, I wanted to make sure I knew what kind of hull I was dealing with, which is where the middle top picture came from, as that was from that website, which is actually it's a flat bottom based boat, which allows it to just kind of slide across the water. It doesn't really cut the water any. What you see next to that picture is a image of a designed racing hydroplane, although I don't think that's really quite a hydroplane, to be honest. But that's a very high performance racing boat. And whereas that would be a lot of fun to build, it didn't really help me much, but I did find some valuable information on water dynamics and how the boat floats from that website. Again, same kind of deal with the boat below that. You see designs for different channels under a boat. This would help the boat track in the water, as well as maybe cut down the water friction as well to help it go down the lake. That was a problem hydroplanes would have, is when they were up to speed, they would actually turn. When you turn the boat and want to turn, it wouldn't actually turn, it would just go in a straight line because of the flat bottom of the boat, it would just slide across the water. That was one of the issues I wanted to fix in my design. Here's what the final product of my design came to. To begin with, I changed the material. The saucy shingle design, it was all wood. It was plywood, Douglas fir for the body with mahogany enforcing on the inside. While I did keep the mahogany enforcing, I swapped the outside plywood material for aluminum. And I did this for A, to make it lighter, and B, make it stronger, so it may be able to handle the more engine I planned on putting in it, the jet engine. Now, and something I do want to clarify, this is not like a jet-propelled car or something like that. It's not an airplane jet. It's a water jet, which you'd find typical on a jet ski or something along those lines. I did use mahogany, however, for the enforcements inside the boat, which you can see in the top left picture and also in the bottom picture. You can see the mahogany wooden interior boards as well as mahogany enforcements on the outside of the boat that will help hold the boat shape. The reason my boat is not as well rounded is the best way of putting it as the original saucy shingle design was, is because the aluminum is harder to mold and bend and do what you want it to do. And the way I have it, it'll actually make it stronger. The folds in it will make the aluminum less wanting to bend like this, and it'll help keep it straight and solid and strong. And that'll help when it's hitting waves and such to keep it straight and not lose the shape that it needs to have. Unfortunately, though, in order to make those rigid edges to it that I have, I wasn't able to find a good solution for giving it a nice, round, pleasant-looking front end like the saucy shingle has. However, it does still have a rounded bottom to it, which will allow it to push itself up on top of the water nicely. Something else you may notice in this drawing or in these drawings, sorry, is that on the bottom of the boat, which you can see in the right-hand picture, are runners. These runners will allow it to have something bite into the water, for lack of a better term, when it's turning. And it will allow it to actually turn when turning because it still has material down in the water, unlike what a hydroplane may cause where it doesn't have anything, it just skids across the top of the water willy-nilly. Something else this boat has going for it as well is the jet propulsion unit that you see below. That jet propulsion unit will allow it to move the weight from hanging off the back of the boat into the boat and allow it to plane better, better weight distribution, handle better potentially, at least I feel. One issue I do need to point out with this design though is I feel that when it's up to speed, you see that hole in the bottom of the boat in the right hand picture. I don't know whether water would actually go up into it at speed, and this may cause for a need to design a water ram underneath the boat to send the water up into the engine's jet intake. I also do not have a steering system designed because that is something you would just kind of buy at the store and it would just be a system of pulleys. Simple enough. And I wanted to try to basically focus this design mostly on engine positioning, person positioning, which it would be right behind that front dashboard you can see. The person would sit there and their knees would go, or at least legs, maybe even knees and legs, go through the holes that you see slotted there, and the steering wheel would stick right off of that. And I wanted to mostly focus on the shape of the boat and make sure that it's a good solid shape that would work very well. For holding the whole thing together, I've selected to use 3M panel adhesive, whereas this is a kind of odd material to use because it's mostly used for panel adhesive. It holds the panels on cars together. This material is very strong adhesive, very sticky and very tactile that will stick to just about anything and hold it there, as well as it's a sealant, so it will keep the water out as well. But screws will also be used to hold everything together just to get a little more connected strength. Now you can kind of see where the design began, the design ended, whereas I understand that my design is nowhere near as nice and aesthetically pleasing as the original design is. I feel as if my design should perform better on the water. The original design was only good for about 35 miles an hour, whereas mine, with a 600cc engine, which I fully believe it'd be capable of holding, if not even bigger, it should be capable of 40, if not 50 miles an hour, which that's very fast when you're only sitting 3 inches off the water. Not even. You're pretty much sitting on the water in this boat. I hope you like my design. Please inform me if you can think of any issues. Contact me if you'd like design information on it or need any more info based on the design. And here's where the references are for where I found all of my information from. And yeah, thank you.